Sahana vavatu Sahana bhunaktu Sahaviryam karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanuramardanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. So pranam everyone. In today's class we are doing continuing from where we left off last time in the 6th chapter. We went on till shloka 26 in the last class. We talked about asampragnata samadhi. We are in the middle of Ashtanga yoga. So the yogi, after sufficient purification of the mind and development of his consciousness, reaches the stage of asampragnata samadhi, where his consciousness becomes very developed, very expanded, and he's fully absorbed in that. He's very aware of his self. So he's experiencing a certain stage when he no longer depends upon anything external. He's fully focused internally in that state of samadhi. So now, continuing from there, we are in shloka number 27. This is what we started out with. Shri Bhagavan says, Prashanta manasam hiyenam yoginam sukhamuttamam upayati shanta rajasam brahmabhutam akalmasham. So you can see that he describes the state of somebody who is experiencing that asampragnata samadhi. Prashanta manasam. His mind is completely peaceful and experiencing a certain sense of liberation. Sukham uttamam experiences the highest form of happiness, ultimate happiness. Upaiti means that happiness approaches this person. And what are his other qualities? Shanta rajasam. There is no longer any rajo-guna in his mind. His mind is filled with pure sattva-guna. So when we talk about rajo-guna here, rajo-guna is that state in which, under the influence of rajoguna, we experience greed, insecurity, fear, the desire, the burning desire to enjoy. All these are a product of rajoguna. Tamoguna, which is even worse than rajoguna, is what makes us feel frustration, depression, anger, laziness. So when we say Shanta Rajasam, it means that person's mind has now, by virtue of his practices, discipline, practice, the sadhana that he has done, has become completely free from Rajoguna. Not only that, naturally, Tamoguna also is not there. That's understood. And so what is he experiencing? Complete Sattva-guna. So in the stage of Sattva-guna, his mind is experiencing knowledge, the pure knowledge about himself as being free. Like we said last time, discipline is the basis for freedom. By virtue of the discipline that he has practiced, he is experiencing that freedom now. And because of that, it says, Sukham Uttamam Upayati. Here, that word Sukham is the subject of the sentence. It says, happiness approaches this person. Right? Normally, it's we who want to get happiness, so we pursue happiness. But now happiness is pursuing him. He's become so pure that happiness wants him more than he wants happiness. That's the way it is worded here. Sukham uttamam upayati. And what else? Brahma bhutam akalmasham. He is so pure that he is experiencing that stage of Brahman. He knows that I am very similar in nature. My nature is the same as that of God. Brahman is a word used to describe God. There are three words: Brahman, Paramatma, and Bhagavan. Brahma, Paramatma, Bhagavan. Brahmaiti, Paramatmiti, Bhagavaniti Shabdyate. The three words to describe the same person, but in English we say God or Krishna in Bhagavad-gi. So he is experiencing his own nature as identical with that Krishna, with that Brahma. So such a person, happiness comes behind him. The ultimate happiness approaches that yogi who has realized his nature as the same as that of Brahman, whose mind is free from rajoguna, and he is very peaceful and fixed in the self. Yunjanevam sadatmanam yogi vigata kalmashaha sukena brahma samsparsham atyantam sukham ashnute. So this is reinforcing the previous shloka. It says, Yunjanevam, engaged in this manner, sada atmanam, always, continuously, not only for some time on a daily basis, but continuously engaged in this manner. What is engaged? His mind is engaged in this manner. That yogi vigata kalmashaha, all disturbing elements. Kalmashaha means impurity or anything that is disturbing. Okay, what is normally disturbing to us when we are in this life? Things like different kinds of desires, expectations. We have expectations of other people, expectations of ourselves. We are not able to fulfill what we want to fulfill. So there is frustration, there is dejection, depression. We want other people to behave with us in some particular manner. We have expectations of them, their attitude towards us. They don't behave in that manner, so we become frustrated. These kind of desires in our heart, they are the ones that are disturbing us. On top of that, we become disturbed when somebody else is successful, right? And we become happy when somebody else is miserable. So these kind of mental orientations, they are all called kalmashaha, impurities, unwanted things. They are the cause of our unhappiness. So a yogi has actually, by deliberate practice, managed to set them aside, get rid of them. And when the mind is rid of those things, then there is sattva guna, experience of sattva guna. So in that state, sukhena brahma samsparsham, with ease. Sukhena here means with ease, with comfort. He is touching God. Okay. So God is something that's very difficult to achieve, it is said, right? The yogis meditate for several lifetimes. But now this yogi has reached that point where he is actually with ease. He is able to see God everywhere and within himself. And in that state, sukham ashnute. Ashnute literally means eats, right? Or devours or consumes. So sukham ashnute. He is consuming happiness all the time. He is comfortably situated in happiness. So you can imagine, like we heard in the last session also, when somebody is experiencing that kind of happiness, then even the greatest misery, a very great form of misery, will not disturb that person. It will look very small. Even a great misery will look very small in front of that happiness. Internally cleansed of all impurities and engaging himself in this manner, the yogi experiences seamless contact with Brahman. Okay, sukhena brahma samsparsham, seamless or easy or smooth contact. He doesn't have to struggle to keep God in his mind. Okay, now if we try to meditate, normally when we try to meditate on God, let's say even some kind of meditation like doing japa or sometimes trying to contemplate on the form of Bhagavan, we are not able to keep that meditation going continuously. It is so difficult. You meditate for a minute or two, then the mind goes somewhere. You have to bring it back. It's there for some time, again it goes somewhere. So keeping the mind on God is not easy. But for this yogi, because of his repeated practice over a long period of time, he's managed to get that seamless contact. He doesn't have to struggle anymore. His mind is naturally fixed in that Brahman continuously. Sarvabhutastam atmanam sarvabhutani chatmani ikshate yoga yuktatma sarvatra samadarshanaha. So it says sarvabhutastam atmanam. So there is one living being who is present in all living beings. Okay, that is Bhagavan. That's why he is called, Bhagavan is also called Sarvabhutastam Atmanam. That Atma who is present in all living beings. Okay, we are not like that. We are ourselves, right? And we are present as ourselves. I'm not present inside you. You are not present inside me, right? We are all individually existing as individual Jivatmas. But there is one Atma, the Paramatma, who sits inside each one of us. That's why he's called Sarvabhutastam Atma. Sarvabhutamastam Atmanam, Sarvabhutani cha Atmani. And all living beings are present inside him, as he says in the Gita in the 5th chapter. In the 9th chapter, later on this will come. I am situated in everything and everything is situated inside me. So Sarva Bhutani cha Atmani, everything is situated inside that Paramatma. Ikshate, Yoga Yuktatma. One who is now appropriately situated in yoga is able to see this. Is able to see that this Paramatma is present in all living beings and all living beings are present in that Paramatma. Sarvatra Samadarshanaha. So being able to see that, he becomes Samadarshi. He's able to see all living beings equally, be it a small ant or a big elephant or a human being, a king, a beggar. Everybody is equal in the eyes of this yogi because he's seeing everybody as a Jivatma with the Paramatma present inside that, identical. Established in that state, the yogi clearly sees the Paramatma as the refuge of all beings and all living beings as situated in him. Endowed with this vision, the yogi sees all beings as equal. And then Sri Bhagavan says, in the earlier shloka, 29th shloka, which we just read, he is not referring to himself. He's talking about himself in third person. Sarva Bhutastam Atmanam, as that Paramatma who is present everywhere. Now in the 30th shloka, he says that that person whom I just spoke about is none other than me. I am that person. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra, sarvam cha mai pashyati, tasyaham na pranashyami, sacha me na pranashyati. So one who has this vision, yo mam pashyati, one who sees me, sarvatra, everywhere, and sarvam cha mai pashyati, one who sees everything as situated in me. Basically, he's repeating what he said in the previous shloka. In the previous shloka, it was in the third person. Now he's saying it in first person. Yo mam pashyati sarvatra, one who sees me everywhere, in all living beings and in everything, and sees everything inside me, tasya aham na pranashyami. To such a person, I am never lost. Sacha me na pranashyati. And such a person is never lost to me. So he never loses sight of me, and I never lose sight of him. We are completely connected to each other. To one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. Sarva bhuta sthitam yo mam bhajati ekattvamastitaha sarvatha vartamanopi sayogi mai vartate. So adding to what he said in the last shloka, he says, one who sees this, sarva bhuta sthitam, one who is situated in all living beings, yo mam, me, one who sees me as situated in all living beings, and bhajati ekattvamastitaha. In that vision, with that vision, he worships me. He worships me as a person who is situated in all living beings. Ekattvamastitaha means that oneness is there between all the living beings because of my presence in all of them. Sarvatha vartamanopi, regardless of what situation that person is situated, is in, doesn't matter. Sa yogi mai vartate. He always resides inside me. Okay, maybe he's doing his prescribed duties as per karma yoga. Maybe he's decided to give up those prescribed duties and now he's only meditating on me. It doesn't matter. Sarvatha means in all situations. Regardless of what situation he's in, brahmachari, grihastha, vanaprastha, sannyasi, it doesn't matter. If he has this vision, then he always resides inside me, always present inside me. One who worships me as that one entity present in all beings, always resides in me, regardless of the circumstances that he is in. So here you can see how Sri Bhagavan earlier spoke about the qualities of Ashtanga Yoga, the kind of seat on which you should sit, you should stay in a secluded place, you should be focused, your mind should be calm, give up all desires, etc., etc. And then he spoke about the happiness that one experiences in that state. And now he's coming to the point of bhakti. He's pointing out that being in that state, one should perform bhakti unto him. One who worships me, bhajati. The word bhajati is used here. Bhajati means he does seva. He's in the mood of seva. He worships that Bhagavan as the source of everything, as the one that is supporting everything, because of which everything exists, on the basis of which everything continues with its normal functions. So this is where bhakti comes at the conclusion of dhyana yoga process. Atmaupamyena sarvatra samam pashyati yo arjuna sukham va yadi va dukkham sa yogi paramo mataha. So he says, in my opinion, that yogi is the supreme yogi who atmaupamyena. Upama means analogy, comparison. We said that earlier, right? Atmaupamyena means one who sees all beings like the way he sees himself. Atmaupamyena. He considers that he's also just like me. So and so just like me. That ant is also a living being just like me. That elephant is a living being just like me. Everything is a living being just like me. Okay, Atmaupamyena. Sarvatra samam pashyati. Samam pashyati means sees everything with samata, equality. You Arjuna. Sukham va yadiva dukkham. Regardless of whether that person is experiencing happiness or misery. Regardless of happiness or misery, there is an equality of vision. Such a yogi who sees everything as equal is the highest form of a yogi. Arjuna, in my opinion, that yogi who views all living beings with the same considerations that one has for oneself in matters of happiness as well as misery is the best. Okay, so this is what the Bhagavad-Gita teaches, this equality of vision. This comes repeatedly in the Bhagavad-Gita. Bhagavad-Gita is not a book of discrimination. It goes above all discriminations that we as human beings make between ourselves. It teaches us that we are not actually human beings, we are actually Jivatma, which is above the human being, which is more fundamental to being a human being. And if with that vision, one actually becomes a better human being. This is the meaning of Manavata. Manavata means in the human form of life, we should have this knowledge. Animals, in the animal form of life, the Jivatma cannot get this knowledge. It is only living out its karma. But in the human form of life, our intelligence is expected to be more developed. We are given the ability to understand these things. If we want to understand, we are capable of understanding it. If we reject it and say that oh, this is all some old people said something, then we lose it. That's our loss. It is not the loss of the Gita, right? We lose that. So this is what the Gita teaches us, and this is the way to happiness. Now, Arjuna, he's been patiently hearing all this, 32 shlokas of God over in the 6th chapter. After hearing all this, he stops Krishna. He says, okay, Krishna, I heard you saying all these things, but please listen to me. Arjuna uvacha. Yoyam yogastvaya proktaha samyena madhusudana etasyaham na pashyami chanchalatvat stithim stiram. So he says, okay, you have described some form of yoga, and now you are saying that one should reach a stage, samyena, means one should see all living beings as equal, regardless of whether they are in this form of life or that form of life, regardless of whether they are rich or poor, whether they are friend or enemy. I should learn to see everybody equally. So which means you are basically saying that I should see Duryodhana with the same lens through which I see my own brother Yudhishthira. How is it possible? My mind will not accept it. Etasyaham na pashyami. I am not able to see that. And he's also giving a reason why he's not able to see that. He says, chanchalatvat stithim stiram. He says, my mind is chanchala. Chanchala means not steady, it's restless, it's moving, shaking. So even if you tell me this now, and because you told me, I start seeing like that. I tell my mind, okay, now see, Duryodhana is equal to Yudhishthira. They are both equal. They are both Jivatmas. Just because of different types of guna, they are behaving in different ways. But basically, they are all the same, and you are present in all of them. I start seeing like that, but my mind won't allow me to see that. My mind, because it's restless, after a few minutes again, I'll start seeing Duryodhana with enmity, and Yudhishthira as my beloved brother. Says, O Madhusudana, I do not see how this yoga described by you, which involves viewing all beings with the same consideration, can be practiced steadily for long, owing to the unsteady and restless nature of the mind. Chanchalam hi manaha Krishna, pramathi balavadhridam, tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. So he adds to what he just said. He says, Oh Krishna, please understand, my mind, your mind may not be like that because you are the supreme and I have accepted you as my guru. I know that you have complete control on your mind, but my mind is not like that. Chanchalam hi manaha Krishna. Pramati means like a madman, like a mad thing, or a mad monkey, you can say. Balavat dridam means it is obstinate. Balavat means with force. It's determined to be obstinate. Okay, one who doesn't listen because he's vowed to not listen. Whatever you say, it will not listen. Tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. Vayuhu is the wind. Now suppose somebody says that, okay, I want to stop the wind. Okay, or I want to capture all the wind in something and lock it up. It will not move anymore. Is it possible? So vayoriva sudushkaram. Just like the wind is so difficult to control, or it's impossible to control, I think the mind also is like that. Controlling the mind, tasyaham nigraham, is like that. Says, oh Krishna, the mind is very restless, unsteady, agitating, and firmly obstinate. In my opinion, to restrain it is as extremely difficult as it is to restrain the wind. So after saying this, Sri Bhagavan responds. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Okay, you can see in the Gita and in the Mahabharata and also in the Bhagavatam, whenever Krishna speaks, the word Bhagavan is used. Sri Bhagavan Vacha, not Krishna Vacha. Sri Bhagavan Vacha. Asamshayam Mahabaho Mano Durnigraham Chalam. Abhyasena tu kaunteya vairagyena cha grihyate. Okay, this is one of the very frequently cited shlokas from the Bhagavad-Gita. It says, there is absolutely no doubt, asamshayam, there is no doubt, oh mighty armed one. Mahabaho means a person with great arms. Arjuna is like that. Manaha durnigraham chalam. It is very difficult to control, and it is chalam, it is restless, it is moving. There is no falsity in what you said. There is no doubt that what you're saying is correct. But abhyasena tu kaunteya, by practice, abhyasa. Abhyasa specifically means repetition, doing the same thing over and over again, with a plan, with a target. Abhyasena tu kaunteya, vairagyena cha grihyate. Vairagya means detachment, without raga. Vairagya, the state of being without raga or attachment. So vairagyena cha grihyate. By abhyasa and vairagya, one can actually conquer the mind. It's possible. Sri Bhagavan said, oh Mahabaho, without doubt, the mind is restless and very difficult to restrain. However, O Kaunteya, it can be brought under control by deliberate practice and detachment from material pleasure. So, he's pointing out that actually the mind may be difficult to control and very impossible, that's how it appears, but there is a key to it. There's a key to controlling it, and that key lies in these two things. Repetition, repeatedly trying to control, along with detachment from enjoyment. So why detachment from enjoyment? Because you have to tell the mind, or you have to make the mind realize with your intelligence that there is a higher happiness waiting for you if you control it. Right? And therefore detachment from normal material pleasures. Asanyatatmana yogo dushprapa iti me matihi vashyatmana tu yatata shakyo vaptum upayata. So then he adds to what he said. He says, asanyatatmana yoga dushprapaha. For one who is not worried about controlling his mind, asanyata, one who does not regulate, the intelligence, the mind. So basically this is coming down again to what we spoke earlier, the value of discipline. So one who says that there is no need of any discipline, listen to the Bhagavad-Gita, that's enough. Listen to some stories about Bhagavan, Harikatha, that's enough. There is no need of any discipline. He says, for such a person, dushprapaha iti me matihi. In my opinion, it is extremely difficult. But vashyatmana, one who is disciplined, one who brings his mind, intelligence, habits, lifestyle under control, yatata shakyo avaptu upayataha. In a planned upayataha means with planning, with proper planning, cleverly. One who is very cleverly living his life with appropriate discipline, with regulation, with balance. For such a person, shakya means it is very much possible. In my opinion, success in yoga is very difficult for one who does not rein in the mind. On the other hand, success is possible for one who controls their mind by following the proper process. So essentially, these 10 shlokas that we saw today have told us that happiness lies in controlling the mind. Happiness lies in the discipline that involves controlling the mind, the intelligence, and directing it in the proper manner. Otherwise, there is no happiness. We think is something that we said in the last class also. Freedom is by discipline. Freedom is not the absence of discipline as it is thought. Normally, in this world, people think that if I earn a lot of money, for example, I have to work hard till the age of about 40 or 45. Many people have this paradigm. And then I don't have to work anymore because I have earned enough money. I can put that money in some funds or some which fixed deposit. And then I keep getting the revenue from that. And then I can live whatever way I want. But the point is this, that if your goal in life is to experience genuine happiness, then that is not possible by living whatever way you want. It's possible only if you live a disciplined life. It doesn't matter whether you are earning or not earning. The point is that whatever life you're living, you live in a disciplined manner where the mind is focused. So if you're not doing one type of work, then the mind should be engaged in some other type of work. And this is the way it should be till we die, till we leave this work, this life. It is not only till we retire or till we have made enough money, but until we die, if our mind is not properly engaged, we will experience frustration. There will be dejection. The mind has to be properly engaged and meaningfully engaged. We should see purpose in what we are doing. And the Bhagavad-Gita gives us this purpose. It gives us a very clear path. It says the goal of life is to connect with God, right? So there is a very nice story which I heard and I wanted to narrate to you. So there was this man. He was a well-off person and he had a house and everything. And he's living with his father, his mother, and they had land. And there was, like a farm, there were a lot of trees on the land. And so finally, one day, his father, approaching his death, called him. He said that, son, there's something that we have lived a happy life together, but there's something I have not told you. You can get even much more happiness than this. And that is that we have actually ancestral treasure with us. And that ancestral treasure has been handed over to me by my father and to him by his father. It has come down through several generations. And we all thought it should be for our next generation. So now it's my duty to hand it over to you. And I will tell you what my father told me. My father said that this treasure is hidden. It has to be discovered by you. It was not handed over to me, so I don't have it in my hands to hand it over to you. I have not found out where it is. So I will tell you what my father told me, and I will leave it to you to find it. I said, yes, father, where is it? So my father told me that it is hidden under the ground. And it's hidden very near a tree, a very big and tall tree. And the tree has many branches, many leaves. And deep in the ground, just next to the tree, this treasure is hidden. So if you now search for it, if you want that treasure, you can search for it and find it. Somehow, I did not know how to look for it. So I have not searched for it. I have not found it. But it's my duty to pass on this knowledge to you, which has come down from ancestor to ancestor. So, okay, father. So after some time, the father passes away. So now this man is extremely eager to find out where the treasure is, because he can then invest that money. He can then become very rich. He can make a lot of money with that. So he starts searching for that treasure. So he takes the clue from what his father said. He said, it's near a tree. So his farm is full of trees. So which tree is it under? So he starts trying to relate with what his father said. The tree has many branches. So he goes to the tree with the most amount of branches. He starts digging under that. He digs, doesn't find it. He puts the mud back. Goes to another tree, does the same thing, doesn't find the treasure, puts it back. And he goes on searching. It's a big farm, so they go on searching. And wherever they see, whichever tree they are digging under, that treasure does not appear. So finally, one day, his little son comes to him. He's playing in the house. He says, Father, See this tree, it's so beautiful, isn't it? He's pointing to a tree which is located inside the house. You see, in our tradition, our ancient Indian houses, if you see, they're all built with courtyards, right? It's not like the modern house, the way we live now. Our houses are built with, there are rooms in some kind of a square or circular pattern, and there is a courtyard inside in the middle of the house where a lot of activities happen. The family gets together. Sometimes in some houses, there is a temple in the courtyard where the family comes and worships. So in many courtyards, you will find there are also, like for example, in some courtyards, they have big tulasi vana. A lot of tulasi is planted, right? You would have seen this in many houses. Similarly, there are trees also. So there is this child who comes and says, Papa, see this beautiful tree here in our house. We can play with it and so on. When he hears that, suddenly it strikes him, maybe the treasure is under this tree. So he quickly calls his servants and says, now dig under this tree. So they dig, and deep inside, they come out with a big chest. It's full of gold, full of golden coins and everything which has come down from generation to generation. So this story is told to help us understand that we are actually looking for happiness everywhere in this world. We know there is happiness somewhere. We know that we are entitled to happiness. Happiness is what we are actually looking for. And everyone tells us that, if you do this, you'll be very happy. You do a lot of this, you go abroad, you will be very happy because there's no corruption. There are good systems. It's very clean. Electricity, there's no problem. Sewage, there is no problem. So people give us ideas. Or they say, in India now, this place has developed very well. Go and put a house there. Right now itself, you invest. Before the price goes up, you will become happy. A lot of ideas. And we are always looking for happiness. And where are we looking? We are looking outside. Whichever form of happiness we are looking for, one thing that is common is we are looking for the happiness outside of ourselves. And that is called Bahirmukata. Bahirmukata means looking outwards. But what the Bhagavad-Gita is teaching us is the direct opposite of that. It says the happiness that you're looking for is right inside you. That treasure that you're trying to hunt down is right inside you. It's right deep inside you. It exists within yourself, and it exists within the connection with that Bhagavan who always resides inside you. So there are two things. One is yourself, and then there is the Bhagavan who sits with you, and he's sitting in all the living beings. The moment you connect with that Bhagavan, that happiness is fully realized. And if you experience that happiness, that is what we saw in today's shlokas, Atyantikam Sukham, infinite happiness, never-ending happiness. And that form of happiness, if one attains, that even great misery cannot disturb. Even if there is some very big calamity around us or in our own life, that happiness is so deep that it will not disturb us. Right? That's what the Gita is teaching. That's why the Gita's teaching is something that we cannot get elsewhere. It's available only in the Gita. Okay, so with this, I will stop for today, and I'll take any questions. Professor Alok is also with us today. No problem. It was online also, if you have anything to ask. Om Shanno Mitra Varunaha Shanno Bhavatvaryama Shanna Indro Brihaspati Shanno Vishnurukramaha Namo Brahmane Namaste Vayo Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahmasi Tvameva Pratyaksham Brahma Vadishyami Ridam Vadishyami Satyam Vadishyami Tanmamavatu Tadvaktaramavatu Avatu Mam Avatu Vaktaram. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat.